sanctions if they don't return to school, or blackmail from those who ought to protect them. At the center, the teachers are faced with poverty, misery, among other things that plague them. Which way would they go to? Should they go to the left or should they go to the right? They are now being placed on the altar as sacrificial lambs for both parties who are advocating for their personal interests and not for the interests of the children who are in dire need of education in Gokitunja divisions in the northwest region of the nation. Minister Paula Tanganji, Cameroon's minister Nalova Lyoga, Cameroon's minister of secondary education, sent out a communique or a press release last week indicating that she is not responsible for the suspension of teachers salaries in Gokitunja division, and also that she knows nothing about the suspension of the teachers in that division. Who then ordered the suspension? Why and how did the press release or the suspension of the list not reach the governor of the Northwest region? If we are talking about decentralization, where and when were the documents sent to Yaoundé and which channel? This is House of Commons with me, Tah Mai Javis. Happy Sunday to all those of you who are watching us for your very first time. Those who have been watching us, we want to say happy Sunday to you, and a happy Sunday to those who prayed that the Lions of Cameroon, the indomitable Lions of Cameroon, should not win. And a happy Sunday to those who actually supported the Lions. We want to say that we are here again to talk about the issues of House of Commons. Before we begin the program, I introduce you my guest with whom we are going to have a 1 hour 30-minute ride to discuss on the issues. Pontus Pilate, Minister of Secondary Education, denies being behind the suspension of salaries. The second topic is the DO bypassing the minister. Can an SDO really bypass a minister? That is our second topic of today. Mr. Dr. Micheal Ndi Mancho is here with us. He is a scholar and someone who understands the educational milieu, both the higher, the secondary, and of course the basic education, and understand the society and how it functions. Dr. Micheal Ndi Mancho also play a key role in shaping the minds of students within the higher educational family, above all ensuring that justice is served to wherever it is supposed to be. Above all, he always has a philosophy that no one is above the law and no one is below the law. Dr. Micheal Ndi Mancho, welcome. Thanks so much, Tah Javis. It's a pleasure to be here. And of course, shaping the educational milieu should be the cry and the fight of each and everyone, every Cameroonian, especially, not to talk about every citizen of the world, because a half-baked mind is a mind that is not supposed to soar. It's a mind that is not supposed to actually act. It's a mind that is supposed to die. And therefore, we think that thinking about education, we should be able to... I used to say that school is a sanctuary, you know. And whenever this sanctuary is touched, it's every home, it's every family that is touched, and no one stays indifferent. Okay. Thank you so much for inviting me, Tah Javis. Also here in the studio with us, we have Mr. Innocent Barozy. Mr. Innocent Barozy is also a teacher who has lived in the conflict zone and is also in touch with teachers in the conflict zone. When I talk about teachers in the conflict zone, I'm talking about Mr. Innocent Barozy has been to Muyuka. He was when the conflict started. We all know the history of Muyuka, and we all know that it is still within the restive region of the northwest or the southwest region of Cameroon. Mr. Innocent Barozy, a happy Sunday to you.
Happy Sunday to you, Javis, and happy Sunday to all the viewers of House of Commons and to all the teachers who are risking their life to make sure that children go to school. But there are some people that don't want them to actually do their job perfectly.
And also in the studio we have a senior barrister, Achu Julius. Before coming to him, we'll have Mr. Ndiwum Emmanuel, who is also a teacher and understands the difficulties teachers faced when it comes to giving out education amidst an unpredictable landscape as far as the conflict in the Northwest and Southwest region is concerned. He's been to the Northwest region of recent and understood the difficulties that the people in the region do face, not only teachers, those who are also government workers and private workers, with the kidnappings of people left and right. You welcome Ndiwum Emmanuel.
Thank you very much, Tah Mai Javis. Greetings to all my co-panelists, especially Barrister Achu Julius, whom we are sharing the platform for the first time. It's true that we are caught in disturbing circumstances in the Northwest and Southwest, especially for those who have decided to make human life to mean nothing to them any longer. Okay. As we go into the core of the program, we shall be talking more on that.
Also, Senior Barrister Achu Julius has been very instrumental in ensuring that we move to the light of the Constitution and respect the laws, constitutional authority, above all, provide education to our children. He has been advocating for the effective teaching of children in the restive region and ensures that Cameroonians must be given the opportunity to have equal education as those within and out of Africa. Senior Barrister Achu Julius also believes that the law should be respected and no one is above and no one is below the law. That if you disagree with a matter, take it to court or competent authority for it to be resolved effectively without moving to an unorthodox means. Senior Barrister Achu, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Javis, for inviting me this day. I want to talk about education in our country, and especially in the rest of the regions of Northwest and the Southwest. We don't have to forget the fact that education is formal and informal, which means what is a school belongs to the teachers, and what is at home belongs to the parents. We seem to forget that part of it because with modern days and modern times, teaching is becoming less and less physical in the sense that there's distant learning. There's a possibility of teaching kids without them coming to school. They can from home follow their classes. There are now even platforms that have been created to help kids and parents and teachers to make sure that the education they want for the kids reach the children by the least and most easiest possibility. So I think these are the type of things we're going to develop during this talk, and we'll stop talking about what is evil or bad and try to see how we can make everything good for you and me.
Thank you very much, Senior Barrister Achu. I'll begin with you on this program. We understand that we are in a changing landscape, but before then, let's take what made news within the country. That was yesterday with the victory of the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon. So far, the competition started on a good footing, and we are moving towards the semi-final. Generally, how will you evaluate the competition so far?
I think when it comes to organization of the competition, I would like to doff my hat to CAF for doing a very good job, and as well as the local authorities for doing what they were supposed to do to make this thing succeed. We know there were a lot of pessimists about it in Cameroon, but everything being equal, they've been proven wrong because the competition has been going on despite the shortcomings, despite the quacks, despite what we never expected to happen, but the competition has been so far successful. I want to seize the opportunity to congratulate the Lions for the performance of yesterday, because I actually saw the Lions that we know yesterday. I went to the stadium, I was a live witness, and I saw them play football, unlike the past matches, because I don't normally see what, despite our victory, I was not very happy with their performance. Secondly, I would like to congratulate the governor of the region, because the security measures that were taken were very appropriate. And I'm sure there were less traffic jam, as I noticed, and less hassling at the entries into the stadium. Everybody was seated, everybody was happy. You could get a fresh drink or water while sitting where you are, or going downstairs where there's some bars or something like that. I was very much impressed. It was my first time going to the new stadium. at least getting insight to participate, to watch the match as a spectator, I was very impressed.
Thank you
I'm
very much.
very happy with my country.
Dr. Micheal Ndi Mancho, we are counting a few games we can, and so far your impression, especially when we look at the match of yesterday.
Well, they won. I mean, they won. I'm putting my stress on my pronoun they. And it is a good thing for them. They won. And as I said during the first encounter, and when it was announced that the AFCON will be held in Cameroon, my fire cry was, I hope the AFCON will leave Cameroon better than it met. Because there's a cry. What use do we have to trumpet the fact that the AFCON was in Cameroon? It was held in Cameroon. That is my main concern. Because it is not just a bonanza. It is not just for the spectacle that we go to the field to watch, perhaps to distress. There should be something more that we think that the AFCON will have brought to Cameroon. And that is what we have been crying for. I'm already feeling very depressed that the AFCON has left about 8 people dead in Cameroon. Somebody will tell me that, okay, it is not the first place, it's not the first country that this is happening. It has happened in many other countries. Yes, but this is not the argument I want to put myself into. If we want to be outstanding in the things that we do, let us be outstanding. And when you want to be outstanding, don't think about the negative things that have occurred in other places in the past. You just have to be unique and really truly be outstanding. But for the fact that we have a new stadium and we are celebrating this new stadium, the very stadium that has created a scandal in Cameroon and the biggest scandal in the world, the Olembe, that is bringing forth and spilling blood, and many Cameroonians losing their lives because of the carelessness of a few group of people who didn't do their job. I would think that we already failed, because even at the end we take the cup. Of what use is that cup? Even at the end we take the millions. Of what use are the millions? Is it going to bring back the many people who have died and the many people who have suffered because of this issue? Well, in the old days when we started watching football, we were watching football for spectacle. But today, football has become a kind of economic, commercial, and whatsoever thing that we are watching. Yeah, and that is what Cameroon wants to receive. That they are looking for the economic and the political image that they want to create in the world. Because it was an issue of holding the calf in Cameroon at all cost, even at the cost of human life. That is what was in Cameroon. And that is what we renounce. Good, it is in Cameroon. And it's drawing to its desired end. And we hope the desired end should be the desire of Cameroonians, that the calf is ending, that it should be after something memorable, that tomorrow we are going to write the story, and everyone who write the story should write the story with a smile.
When you say day one, day who? Second, you say we're expecting that the things the can should bring, the can is not bringing. What are the kind of things you're expecting that the can has not brought?
First, the can was supposed to bring an economic boom in Cameroon.
We have the can villages.
Which villages? Organized by few people for their political gain and for individual gains in the quarters. You will tell me, go to any of the village, you are a renowned journalist. Go there and make a report about that and tell us in those villages what they have brought in those little. Those who ask for aid and in order to buy drinks and maybe make their inflect their bank account. Secondly, we expected that the can should come and people should bring in money in Cameroon. Yes, a team called Morocco that came in and brought in all their arsenals and everything that was supposed to be used, and even the local employees that were supposed to be brought in to be able to gain one or two things, few francs at the end of it all. They were deprived of.
No, they were not deprived of.
They were
paid for the services, and
they were
much higher. The money still enter into the account.
No, that is a lie. That is if that's what
so they use the hotels for free.
They didn't use for free, but
the vehicles that were used for free.
Well, don't talk about the vehicles, but the vehicles comes into the organization in itself. We don't talk about the vehicles. These people brought everything that they were supposed to bring, and they used their own money to do it. And they have been given an argument and said yes that they are doing this because of the crisis, the health crisis that we have outside. Let me tell you, I talked with one of the waiters that works in one of those hotels, and he told me they have gone without any franc. What they promised them, they have not had, and they are waiting whether at the end of the can, that's when they are going to accumulate all and give them. They don't have anything. Don't listen to what people are telling you.
Now, so, briefly, since this is not the main topic, briefly, when you say day one, they who?
They who wanted the can in Cameroon at all costs, at the cost of the economic in Cameroon, at the cost of every life that is being lost, at the cost of every political ambition that they wanted, they have won.
So you were not expecting can in Cameroon even in the next 10 years? You
The can was supposed to be postponed. It was not supposed to hold in Cameroon at all costs.
Okay, your problem is the at all costs. Ndiwum Emmanuel, briefly, this is not our main topic. Briefly, can is going, and so far, your evaluation, especially with the match of yesterday, though you and I had a brief argument about the match of yesterday before.
I think the argument of you and I was between you and I.
That's why I have not mentioned the argument here.
So, you see, I must appreciate the match of yesterday. You know, for those who say I'm a pessimist, I always say things the way I see them. The match of yesterday was a match that even the devil could not afford not to clap, because he was well played. Unlike other victories that we narrowly passed through the eye of the needle like a horse before getting to where we are. Of course, victory is victory. It is victory indeed. But the problem now is we are talking and celebrating it here in Douala. But if you go back to Njinikom, Bello, Fundong, there have not been electricity for about a week. And I believe there are still Cameroonians, and they also have the right to watch the matches and celebrate with us. Those are some of the drawbacks that when Dr. Ndi Mancho says people wanted the cup at all costs, it is true. It is true, because if Cameroon had succeeded to walk over corpses and host a Nations Cup, it means that Cameroon is formidable. It means that Cameroon is, of course, a land of promise, a land of salvation. You see, I don't have a problem with the AFCON because it is in Cameroon. I have a problem with what surrounds the AFCON, because I never knew that Cameroon could be this formidable to, successfully gather the whole of Africa and host it in Cameroon, whereas the regime in place has been unable to rally Cameroonians around the whole one table and talk with them. That is where I have a problem. So I only think that at the end of the day, if they can take this example of successfully bringing the whole of Africa to Cameroon soil, and then use it to successfully bring all Cameroonians on the same round table and solve the problems that are existing, it would have been a good lesson from the AFCON. Because we may win the cup, but the thing is, AFCON will certainly pass. The joy, the jubilation will go away, and our problems may remain if we don't learn a lesson from what we use to organize the AFCON. So I am applauding those who have organized it, and I am pleading with them that use the same skills, same strategy, same competence that you have used to bring the whole of Africa to Cameroon, and bring the sons and daughters of Cameroon on the same round table so that you discuss the issues of Cameroon. Okay.
Barozy, briefly, your appraiser so far, also the match of yesterday.
Actually, the match of yesterday was good, but to me, the Lions performed very poorly. Although they won, they were supposed to score more than the number of goals that they scored. And it's just like what Mr. Ndiwum said. Because since 2019, that Cameroon was supposed to host this Nations Cup, and they took it away from them, carried it to Egypt. The government have been mounting pressure, and sure they have been developing strategies until at least they successfully hosted it in 2022. But now, that same strategies that they used, why is it that they could not use those same strategies? Like for instance, Etofis, when just of recent, the president of FIFA wanted to stop the Nations Cup, the president of CAF, Etofis stood up and said no, meaning that Etofis is a square peg in a square hole. Then I asked myself that why is it that the government of Cameroon, the president, for instance, he has people in place that don't have any strategies to solve the problems, because leaders are out to solve problems. They don't have any strategy to solve the problems. I still maintaining them there, of which there are better people outside there, because CAF have been suffering for so long. FIFA rather, yes, FIFA, Fecafoot. Sorry, Fecafoot has been suffering for so long, but now Etofis was brought in because to me, if maybe it was a different person, this Nations Cup wasn't afford in Cameroon, but Etofis stood up as a man, showing that it's a square peg in a square hole. And there are other many people outside there who are square peg in square holes, but they have carried them and just abandoned them. So the president should do something, bring in those that have the country at heart. Because at times when some people come to the panel and they're speaking, they say they are not. Most of these ministers, they themselves, they are not patriotic. They know themselves, they are not, because they know the right thing, but they all say the president the wrong thing.
Okay, we won now, but you said the Lions is not.
We don't know. No, we. I mean that we won. I was happy.
They won. We won.
We Cameroonians. We Cameroonians won.
We are sounding like Oliver because Cameroon should not be winning with two. They won. Cameroon should not be winning with 2-0.
It's high time we start. You see, whenever you become negative, it takes you to negativity. Well, in life is a positive thing. God never made you and me to come here and be negative. He made you and me to come here and be positive. Yeah. So whenever there's something, try to see how good that thing is, rather than how bad it is. You see, it is. So look at how bad something is. That makes you develop hate for others. Let's stop that. At least, if you have the opportunity of enjoy yourself. Don't say, why should there be too much music for you to dance, or less music? Dance what you can dance. And you see, if you take life in such a subtle and easy, simple manner, you find less headaches in your life. I don't see how we can take some of us Cameroonians to organize something for us. They've done their best. But instead of you encouraging them to do better, you tell them, oh, they are stupid. They don't know what they're doing. They're not supposed to be there. Or that there are people who are better than them. Not everybody could be called, but not all of them will be chosen. It's not possible for all the best to be called and all the best to be chosen at the same time.
Okay.
Whoever has the right to decide will decide as time goes on. Let's enjoy the AFCON. If you want to go for economic, you might get yourself losing because the economy is so vast. You will decide analyzing the economic impact of AFCON. I bet you, my friend, we will not be able to finish this program because the economic impact is real. If you not felt it, I have felt it. Maybe you deal with waiters, and that's why the information comes from waiters from hotels. I deal with the bosses, so I have a different view. that should be a different. That is the capital. Go to where decisions are taken.
Money go to the bank.
Don't rely on WhatsApp and those who stand at the gate. They normally do nothing. That's why I say, economic wise, this AFCON is doing a lot for Cameroon. If you don't know, if I tell you how much at the end of the day we're going to gain, just from the macro point, not even going to the micro, you'll be shocked. We're going to get 3 times the expenditure of those stadiums. 3 times at the end of the competition. Enjoy yourself, enjoy the spectacle.
We'll dive straight to our topic, Pontus Pilate role. Minister of Secondary Education, Nalova Lyonga, denies being behind the suspension of salaries of absentee teachers. I'll begin with you, Senior Barrister Achu, before moving to members of the panel. Suspension of salaries. Minister of Secondary Education denies responsibility. If we go by the tenet of decentralization, that is the SDO, the due is under the SDO sends to the governor forwards to the minister in charge. But it's like this was not respected.
So far, the information we have about this thing are those rumors, or maybe WhatsApp messages.
But the minister
I doubt if anybody has gone to see the minister or the minister gives an interview that this is what was happening.
The communique was.
But in any case, no, in WhatsApp, right? You saw in WhatsApp.
No, I saw it. Credible news sources like the Guardian Post, credible communique published. Okay. Signed by the minister, and the minister has not even rejected because she's noted for rejecting communique, and she has a strong communication team that reject those communiques. That
she's noted, but she has no obligation to reject or not to reject. But in any case, that's not what the issue is. You should understand that in the administrative setup of Cameroon, the SDO is the only person that represents all the ministries, all, in his sphere of influence, in his sphere of competence. He's the only person. He has a right to take decisions that affect his own division. If it's true that because I don't know what we are hearing even about the SDO of Ngokitim years that he suspended the salary of some worker.
Yeah, he sent straight to the Minister of Finance, and the Minister of Finance effectuated the suspension of salary.
No, it's not even the Minister of Finance that does it. He does it as the SDO takes his responsibility and takes a decision on what he thinks. If you're not happy with an administrative decision and you don't know what to do, I'm sorry. But anybody's complaining, they go in WhatsApp and try to challenge the decision of an SDO. There are ways of doing it. That's why I say we create hate and disorganization in the country without knowing. Because you see, everybody's criticizing, some persons seem to criticize what the SDO has taken a decision. But it is an imperium. The law gives him that right to take decisions about civil servants within his sphere of competence. If he has taken a decision, he has taken it. But if you're not happy, you should know what to do. You start from here. When you did my presentation, that I like that we respect the law.
Yes.
We should understand that when there's an administrative decision and you're not happy, you have a right to take it to administrative court. You can even have it suspended in administrative court. But people should think of defending themselves rightly, rather than going around spreading hate, making people hate and challenge people unnecessarily. Meanwhile, there are means of we can do that properly. The minister, okay, it's alleged the minister distanced herself from this decision. But I should want to ask you, if you ask this question, why is it that the SDO's decision has been executed?
That's a $1 million question.
He has the right to suspend the salary of a worker who's not coming to work. You see, we're always complaining every day about kidnappings and things like that. Yes, who started it? When teachers and lawyers marched, this thing has now an effect which is getting back into society. Why can these same teachers and lawyers who marched not think of doing the same march to bring it down, to stop it, so that people should follow them too? They left it, they allow it, it is degenerating in front of everybody. The government can take certain measures and has taken its own measures and say, look, this is what I can do. Either you follow me or you keep having the situation being degenerates every day in front of you. And that's what is going on. These same teachers who are complaining, why they can't march that to ask that it should stop? That this is not what we wanted. Look, you see, let's be consequential. I would like us to be consequential with what we do and what we feel. If we think that something is wrong, let's face it.
You are a legal mind. Many people probably did not get or did not understand the functionality of that the SDO has that capacity. What will possibly be the way forward for these guys now?
The first thing is they should now find out if the SDF is right or wrong, and the SDO is right or wrong. You find out if the SDO had that right or not. And as I say, if an SDO takes a decision, an administrative decision, and you don't like it, you have a right to go to court to challenge it. And that is the best way forward. Because the law says you write to his hierarchy, and after some time you go to the administrative court. At the same time, you can ask that decision be suspended. Because what else, for example, if the SDO says
that decision should be suspended.
If, for example, it is a lie that you are not going to school, you are not coming to teach, and you can prove it, the court will suspend that decision. No, because I hear that's the SDO decision was because he was not coming to school. He was not coming to teach, but was earning his salary. So, but if it's a lie, bring proof to court that, look, I am coming to school every day. This is me. These are the proof. And the court will suspend that decision and you go back to school and they cannot touch your salary. But if you allow it and you stay and start complaining like we are doing here and just talking about it like that and say, oh, we don't like this, we don't like that, the decision stays and your salary will be suspended until the day you come to your senses to do the right thing.
Senior Barrister Achu, many were expecting that the SGO would write to the governor of the region, who is also the representative of the head of state in that region, and that the governor of the region, in consultation with the Minister of Secondary Education, will now send the decision to appropriate quarters. But that wasn't the case.
I've told you again, go back to the law of decentralization. It is the SDO that represents all the ministries and not the governor. The governor represents the head of state.
Okay.
These are two different things.
This is
so it
means not.
So it means that the SGO, within its sphere of influence, can take administrative decisions that affect the lives of all the civil servants in this area. And when it takes a decision, the law gives you the right to challenge it if you're not happy with it. As easy as that. Let's not go very far. You can take the SGO to court for his decision. It doesn't serve us well to go back to WhatsApp, because I read some writers from teachers trying to blackmail the SDO. It will not stop that salary from being paid. If the guy wants his salary, let him do the right thing.
Okay.
And don't follow the wrong people, the people leading to the gutters.
Okay. Dr. Micheal Ndi Mancho, Senior Barrister Achu Julius is stating that the SDO has a competence based on the law of decentralization to do this. But is it not something that is repugnant to natural justice? Because we see that it is practically impossible for these guys to operate in this region. They are caught between the devil and the deep blue sea, constant kidnappings of teachers. And it is also alleged that this SDO is not in his area of competence, that is not in his office operating at that level because of insecurity.
He's living in limbo. You see, that law of decentralization, when the law came up, I said to the media organ, I said, it's the law that favors the bourgeoisie. Remember that Senior Barrister Achu allegedly said that I am actually dealing with the low people who are the proletariat, because he said I deal with the waiters. I get information from the waiters.
Based on AFCON.
Yeah, based on the AFCON. I want to make an intertextual relationship between, and that he gets information from the managers. You see the kind of country which we deal with. You get information from the managers who feel fat and they don't care about the low people. Me, I plead the cause of the low people. Barrister pleads the cause of the low managers, who are the capitalists. The managers are the capitalists. They get all the finances, they eat among themselves, and they give reports. The low people cannot give report, they cannot cry. And the low people depend on issues like the social media to plead their cause. As they have written.
But they have the courts now. They
have the courts.
Authorities.
Good and very good. And the court themselves and the court themselves are being run by the bourgeoisies. How can the proletariats plead to the court? That's what I'm asking. Now, we live in a system whereby, you know, the system of appointment in Cameroon is a lame system. What do I mean by a lame system? I'm in a university milieu. Even the HOD in the university is appointed by the head of state. Do you know that? And therefore, the HOD stands to argue with the dean of the faculty. The HOD stands to argue with the rector of the university, because when the rector gives a decision, the HOD will tell you, I benefited from the same presidential appointment as you did. This is a very, very serious issue. Now, get back to the issue of the DO. That DO, of course, fears that, and truly what Barrister said, the DO knows that he is much more of a landlord than the Minister of Secondary Education. Do you know that? Tomorrow, the Minister of Secondary Education will be sent to the quarters. You will lose he or her job. But it's very difficult for the president to destitute a DO. A DO is rather looking for a promotion. The next ministerial appointment, that minister will not be there. Perhaps because of this misdemeanor. But the DO is waiting to be appointed as a governor. Because he knows that only retirement puts him down. Except somebody takes him to court. And what court? Of course. Let me ask that rhetorical question. What court in Cameroon would you take it to? Court. What administrative court? Listen, and who will listen to you? And who are you? The waiter? Go to court? That is the question I'm asking. Let us be very careful. This crisis, when it started, remember that even this thing started in 2019, when the law of decentralization has not been utterly fully implemented. That's when he took that decision. The issue is just coming up now, but it was in 2019. So if the argument of Barrister is that he is true thanks to the law of decentralization, that argument has no base. Because it was since 2019 that this DO did this thing. And people have been talking about it. And remember that I've even talked to one of the teachers who said the DO, after doing that, has been going behind through the teachers who are coming to him to beg and asking for teachers for some sum of money to be able to restitute their salaries.
And some have not been restituted.
And some have not been restituted. That is a good thing. Yeah, it is not defamatory. It is not defamatory. Let us very good and very good. And we have all stood to actually to defend with the point we are talking about. So the issue is, let us be very careful when we are talking about this thing. This issue was started by the teachers. And I remember when Tassan Wilfred stood with Barrister Agbo and off-station Baminda, and Tassan openly said, we are going to see as from next Monday whether who commands this region, whether it's the government or us, the teachers. Remember that since 2016, the teachers have been the direct SIB, what I call the SIB of these Ambazonians. Because Ambazonians feel that the teachers instituted this thing and have abandoned them to it. I think that we need to actually tamper justice with mercy.
Who's we?
The government. Your government, Senior Barrister. Your government should do that.
I go where we now. Finally.
Listen. When I talk about we, I'm talking as an observer. Okay. And now you should define yourself to say the day now, the CBDM and his government should tamper justice with mercy at this point. If you want to solve this issue, you know, the teachers and the lawyers they have the Northwest and South as a no-go zone. And we have to understand the DO himself has to be the first person on the ground to understand that these teachers, their lives are in danger. We have had your Namata, who is up to today for how many years has not been seen. That was a DO. And that this DO was having all the arsenal as protection. And he disappeared like that. We have had the regional delegate of, people have gone. And we think that even the DO in Ngoketunya, who doesn't live, even in Ngoketunya, lives in Limbe, and the wife too is a teacher. I'm giving you information because I'll give you the information in court too. And the wife too is a teacher. He's not living in Ngoketunya. How do you expect this teacher who are vulnerable, these guys, I call them terrorists. You know my point. Since I say I'm a federalist. I'm not an Ambazonian. I'm not a separatist. I'm a federalist. These terrorists, they are having these teachers as their sibling. How do you expect them to come to the ground? You go around with gun proofs, and you want the teachers to come and teach, knowing that they are treating on very dangerous ground.
Dr. Micheal Ndi Mancho, you said the courts in Cameroon are led by bourgeoisies. I have this question to you. If you have a matter now, where will you take it to?
Amazonia.
Well, Barrister is very quick to answer, and that is that the CPDM people, they are quick to draw conclusions. The issue is,
if you have a matter now.
Good. That is a very good question.
Will you defend yourself before these bourgeoisies?
Do you believe that after the court, there is somebody who is above the court?
You are telling me that.
I will tell you now. Since 2016, I take my matters to God.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've realized that our courts in Cameroon are not giving justice where it should be given. Because I think that there are people, even lawyers, are supposed to be humanitarians. That in cases like this, in other countries, lawyers come and buy the case. No. They do. Barrister, they do. Have you had even in Cameroon where lawyers go, have you never bought the case, lawyer? Barrister, no, honestly, I've never bought the case.
We call it touting. We don't do
okay, good. That is very fine.
Okay,
you're giving me a legal name. Thank you very much for that legal name. Touting. I learned something for a very
change of name.
A change of name.
But not the function.
It's just like corruption in Cameroon and lobbying in the United States of America.
No, lawyers don't do that.
Yes, they change of name.
If you see a lawyer doing that, warn him. Lawyers don't do that.
That is what I'm saying. That
he's doing something illegal.
When we have cases like this, when you find things thrown to the desert, thrown out in the public, know that they are above the people. The teachers are on their necks.
Okay.
And that they fear that there is no way else you can go. Do you tell that these teachers, they trusted the court? They will not go directly to the court. They will be throwing on WhatsApp.
It's trusting. Going to is trust.
No, it's trust that the court will divide justice.
Okay. We'll be coming to you. It means that you are not taking a matter to the court.
Yeah. No, to God.
And Jesus is a lawyer.
Ndiwum Emmanuel.
Yes, Jesus Christ.
Jesus is a lawyer.
Please for me.
Ndiwum Emmanuel. Let us look at this from a humanitarian and administrative perspective. The Minister of Secondary Education is the boss of this region, but administratively we are told by what Senior Barrister have articulated, because he masters the constitution and the text very well, stating that by what is enshrined in that decentralization law, the SDO has the right to take those decisions, and that is the teachers who are not comfortable with the decision and who may see it right or wrong still have the opportunity to lay their grievances before a competent administrative court authority.
The first observation is that I will be very succinct and emphatic with you that if the teachers go to court, they will lose it. That one, there should be no debate about it. Because they will lose it. If they had their way to the court, they will do that. And I will remind you that I'm directly or indirectly affected by that mess in Ngoketunya, because my brother is there. I want to tell you that this SDO do not live in Gokutunja, and it has been for long. And I remember that for about 4 times, he had threatened to do so. That was 2019-20. And with the complicity of some principals, when he threatened and they come, he missed them at upstation. It is verifiable. It is verifiable. And all the school documents in that area have been treated at upstation Bamenda. After treating, they go back. There are some who successfully went through the eye of the needle and had the transfers from that place. And I have teachers who have been attacked there severally because they have struggled to be there. The question is, who are we fooling? Coming back to the law of decentralization, I'm sure that barrister is missing something. In the law of decentralization and in the competence of school domain, it is the councils first that are supposed to take charge from equipping, from reporting, before it goes to the DO. I stand to be corrected by the barrister. Of course, the law is there. I think it should be section 66, 67, like that, in the law of competence in education.
There is not the DO. There is DO.
No, the DO comes in. The area where the DO comes in is very far. The immediate
as managing the schools
management should be the councils.
So
and of course, since we are in Cameroon, which is a failed experience, of course, we should know that the decentralization that have been singing, which remain in the cupboards for 27 years today, we are suffering the effect. Because if at all the decentralization went into effect to full force, the way it is supposed to be done, and the way it is obtained elsewhere, we wouldn't have been having this confusion of what's the role of the DO, what is the role of the council. But my point is, teachers should not be taken as bets for this war. We all know that when the government declares a war, the government should stand and fight the war to the end. And the government should be able to protect the people. Because the gendarmen, the policemen that are there, most of them, I will tell you that in Bamenda they sleep with gun proofs. Even in the houses, they have double doors. And the teacher has been left to the mercy of tragedy. The teachers do not have any ammo car. They are offered no protection. I say it openly and I say it loud. Go to GTHS for now. I was on your platform one time ago when that school was attacked. And I told you the number of teachers that were attacked there. Between the gendarmerie to the left, the police station to the right, and the SDO's residence directly opposite the school. These teachers have no protection. But my advice would rather go to the teachers. If you think that you will sustain your life only with a salary that comes from the government, abandon that job and protect your life, you teachers. Because when you die, the government will not do anything. I want to remind you that the 6 delegates in India till date, the government has
35. It was 6.
There were 6. One died.
Yes.
The 5 are missing till date. Have you ever heard a communique from the government? Challenge me.
Say investigation is still on.
The barrister Clement died. Have you heard any communique from the government? Who is losing? The family. The friend of Bambalang, who was fooled into politicking and he was taken by the Amber Boys till date. Has anything been said about him? Look, trust this government at your maximum risk. When they tell you that, listen, when they tell you that they are giving us security, I have often said, you as an individual, take your security disposition into your hand. Don't rely on them. Because the teachers that have been beheaded by the Amber Boys, their lives will never be brought back. And of course, the government has already forgotten them. They will launch different concourses. Their positions will be replaced. And who is losing? Take, for example, that you are killed and you are the lone breadwinner of your family. and you are a teacher. You went and died in Okutunja because you wanted your salary not to be suspended. Who is the loser? You and your family.
You said trust this government at your own risks, but I have this question for you. Yeah. Probably you use services done by the government. You pay taxes. You have salaries.
Yes.
And also, mean that at this point in time, the government that's providing you, if you have a problem now with someone, will you not go to the police? No. Because you don't trust the police.
Tah Mai Javis. Justice in Cameroon is bought and sold. I don't need to.
So you are going to buy your own justice?
Why will I take the money to buy it? It is for people like Barrister. Listen. When you ask a question, wait for the answer.
Okay.
You've asked me if I'll go to the police or not.
Yes.
If I have a problem and I know that I'll go to the police and the turnout will be that this name is familiar and you are a no-name, why should I spend? I prefer to apologize to the person if I'm wrong and I settle it amicably, like he said a while ago. Before the courts came to Africa in general, we used to settle problems traditionally. There were no courts.
So you go to
there were no gendarmerie, there was no police. So we should not think that because no, there's nothing about gendarmerie.
So I want to get this. If I bash your car,
I slap you
now, and will you call for the police to have a constant, or you will just?
I know you are the one asking the questions. Let me ask you this question.
No,
in no ways today. When you are beating up the Amber Boys, where do you take the case to? Because the Janamari post.
I've never been to the Northwest since this conflict started.
But I'm there every day.
No, so you are asking the question. I'm asking you that if I
am telling you that we are in a state of lawlessness.
Your statement you made is that trust this government at your own risk.
Yes. No, trust their promises at your own risk.
Okay.
Trust their promises.
No, it's okay
at your own risk. So when they're talking about security, that they will supply security to you, make sure that your security comes from you first. It's just like I was telling you. Let me give you back. I was telling you that people have to go to the stadium. I have no problem with that. But before going there, ask yourself: am I going to come back safely? If the answer is yes, okay, go. But if you think that sitting in your house watching the match through the television will end up earning your security, you can still do it. It all depends on you. Because when you die, you die.
Happy Sunday to all those of you watching us on Facebook. Fondon Richard. Happy Sunday to you, Fondon Richard. Happy Sunday to you, Juvett Jito Asanji. Also Bob Guy Cheberi. Also Miki. Happy Sunday to you, Nadia Victor. Happy Sunday to you. Also Leslie Yuka. Also Louis Pop and Franklin Aguafo. All those of you watching us on Facebook, I want to say happy Sunday to you. You can participate on the program on the numbers on your screen, or if you want to be a panelist to House of Commons, you can write me on the number 676 431384. 676 431384. You can be a panelist. Let me come to you, Innocent Barozy. Teachers are suffering. In this situation, what should the teachers do? You are a teacher and you have been in the war zone in Muyuka. You have experienced this, yes, and you are living it.
Yeah, thank you for that question. I just want to say that when I hear the powers of the SDO, then I ask myself, I said before that most of these leaders are incompetent. So the SDO has the powers to suspend people's salary, but it doesn't have the brain to look for means. The education will go on in the midst of the war. Because if me, I were the one, if you put me in that position now, what we'll do is I will call all the teachers, then let us join our heads together and see how these things will move forward. Meaning that, that means from what the barrister said, if I'm to align with that, it means that the real people who are spoiling this country are the SDOs. Yes, there are those people that are taking care of the other administrative units that the president has appointed, and they're the ones spoiling this country. Because if you know that you can take that type of decision, call the teachers and say, but now, what? Because like normally there should be a buffer zone. Because you know that in the Northwest, not all the places are actually hot. Yes, not all the places are actually hot. You can even call the military and tell them now, okay, between now and now, please, if there is any, because when those guys start shooting, if the military does not shoot, they will shoot and stop. But when they start shooting, because I was in Morocco, when they start shooting in Balong, when they start shooting in Makanga, the military starts shooting in Balong, everybody runs into the house. No activity can take place again. But when they shoot for 1 hour and nobody shoot, they will stop. So call the military and talk with them, call the teachers and talk with them so that education can continue moving forward. Yes, and I want to say that I want to differ with you. Me, at least I did law in the University of Boya for 2 years before I diverted and went to my elder brother said I should leave. Please, what I came here on this panel said the problem with Cameroon is ignorant. Listen, the law in Cameroon is for the common man. You can go there and you have your you have your justice in the law court. I have been there. Yes, I've been there, not opportunity. The problem is that most Cameroonians that have the problem, they go to the police. Police majority, 90% of police are corrupt in Cameroon. If you take your problem to the police, just of recent I took one of my problem there. But I went there, the assistant commissioner do not know that I've gone to the state council. He wanted to play it, but when finally he realized that it was from the state council, he just surrendered. Because the state council is in charge of all the police and gendarmes. That everything happens, the state council can just call you a policeman and bring that person here. Now the person is here. Then bring that person here, the person will come. If you have a problem here, go to the state council. The state council will, when they send it to the police, when the police are treating the matter, they will be very, because the state council is not even in a quarter, because the policemen they do that, because they are in the quarter, they are drinking with you in the quarters, so they are used to people, so they have their friends in the quarter, so there must be some injustice. Yes, so if you have your problem, please, you go to court and know your right.
Okay. Thank you very much. Fondon Richard, I've seen your messages on Facebook. We appreciate you, and we appreciate you also calling us names. It's democracy, and we respect your opinion. And we also hope that you have the courage sometime to come to Cameroon and also be a panelist and speak what you want others to speak. And we're glad that you take responsibility for what you're saying. I'll come back to you, Barrister Achu Julius. Barrister Achu Julius, when you look at what Ndiwum said, that the law of decentralization now doesn't give the SDO that power that it gives by the council, because that the council manages the schools, and so in one way it means that something is not right somewhere.
That goes without saying that if what he's saying is right, all the teacher needs to do is challenge the decision in court. Simple. That no, you don't have a right. It is a council. It's as easy as that. But let me tell you again. Look, don't mix up what is a DO, which is a divisional officer, and an SDO, which is a senior divisional officer. Those are two different persons. The senior divisional officer manages the division, while the divisional officer manages the subdivision. We should get that very clear.
With the DO inclusive.
No.
The SDO manages with the DO
inclusive. So it's hierarchically yes. The boss of the DO.
Yes.
As of date, the transfer of competencies have not yet been affected, let's say even to 25%. So which means the old dispensation still stands because it is a gradual process. They don't want it to destroy or to affect the society in a particular way. Those who are in charge, that's what they've decided. That look, this thing has to go gradually, so we don't feel it. That's their style, because they're in charge. They're the ones in charge. If you don't like it, go and be in charge and take a decision too in their place. But as of now, they're in charge. We have to respect what they do because we have asked them to be in charge. We say, I'm glad Mr. Innocent is very clear. The law is meant for the common man. On the contrary, managers and rich people don't go to court. I want to correct Dr. Ndi Mancho. If you go to court, 9/10 of the matters are matters of the common man. The guys of a certain level handle their issues at a certain level. They don't go to court. They sort it out because the problems they face are not the same as the problem of the common man. So if you think that going to court is not correct for you, please, I'm begging you to change your mind. Because there's divine justice, which is known after you and me are dead. And there is human justice, which is what we have put in place to organize our society. Unless you don't want our society to organize, well, you can say the court is nonsense. But in so far as an organized society, the court is part and parcel of it. We are not in paradise. Every institution has its shortcomings, its good tidings, its bad omens. Every society, every institution has good managers, bad managers, and so on and so forth. But you should know that when it comes to institutions, those are things which have to be in society, no matter what you think about them. And we should be lucky if we have an institution which is 100% perfect. We should be very lucky, which is very rare in the world, to have an institution that is 100% perfect. But in spite of those institutions, we should respect them. I just said it before. If you think that SDO was wrong, why did they implement a wrong? Do you think the Minister of Finance will implement a wrong decision? They sign those call orders and those things. Arretes and whatever decrees. They sign it at their own level. But do you think the minister, because normally salaries go through the Minister of Finance. Do you think the Minister of Finance will stop paying somebody's salary if that document coming to them is illegal?
But on top of that, I want to get your point, Senior Barrister. Your point, is it that you are not against the fact whether it's right or wrong? You are for the fact that he has the competence.
Sure, that's where I am. He has the right. Does he have a right to do it? Yes. Has he done it? Yes.
It is not whether it was right or wrong.
That's immaterial. It is not for you to say, look, this thing is wrong, and you challenge it. Okay. If you don't do it, it means you accepted it. And when you accept it, bear it. Simple as that. Okay. Or wait for the day you die so that God will judge it, as Doctor is saying. And that's another thing. So when we are waiting for that day, stop complaining. Stop spraying hate. Stop making people to be angry, to hate somebody for nothing. When the president has just done his job as per the law. Because when you do a job as per the law, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
It is for you now who is being affected by that act to do what is right, to challenge the act. Because that person doing it has his reasons. You have to know that NGO doesn't act alone.
Okay.
He has security reports. He has reports from the police, the gendarme, and from the plainclothes all the time. He has reports from the principal, because they don't sanction the teacher without a note from the principal, if you don't know that. So go and check it out. You will realize that the list that the principal sends to the SDO, that was being sanctioned all the time.
Well, please, 1 second. No, Mr. Barrister, I beg to differ with you. I want to tell you that on that list, there are names of principals on that list. Principals are the first victims on that list. And these principals are the people who have been running Bamenda to Yaoundé when they were called the first time. The second time, they went to upstation, still on the same thing. In the presence of the governor of Northwest Region, all the teachers were there. And the teachers tabled their complaint, giving out even the names of the previous teachers who have been kidnapped on the NDOP. GTH is NDOP. Let me sound the name of the school now. And the governor at upstation promised to prop into the matter. I don't know how it ended. But to say that it is the principal that gives the list, no. And we also have some information. We cannot independently conclude that it is true or right. That this Joe collected money from the teachers.
So it is alleged.
So it is alleged. Some salaries were reinstated. Some succeeded to be transferred out of Ngokotunja, of which we have the names of some who left Ngokotunja and they are elsewhere. Some are even in Banjok, in Yaoundé as we speak now. And the principals who decided that it was already becoming too much, they will not succumb to any amount. Ask from the Joe. Their names are on that list.
Okay.
So I was really interrupted by.
No, you
who's used to that. In any case, I know him. Well, you see, now he has read the list. It means he was part of it, right?
No.
He saw the list where? You see, let's look.
You said he saw it on WhatsApp.
We have teachers.
There was no list.
He said that's a brother.
No, come on. No, come on.
Let's the list has senior.
But you see,
senior, you are about to say the list has never gone out.
No, I never see the list in any case.
But I have a soft copy of the list.
Oh, from WhatsApp?
From a confidential source.
That's how he has it.
No, a confidential source.
But in any case, let me not go there. Why can you not say no pity? I blame you for kidnapping teachers. Nobody. All of you always say government. After causing this trouble, we don't know. No pity is there. and you know them. They are not your brothers.
We know our government. Our government.
We are not talking to stupid people. Nobody will say Sako or who told you. Talk about them. Who doing criminal acts?
Last week he condemned the kidnapping.
I have been saying that criminals.
That's what we are supposed to be doing. The more we do it, it will become proactive.
Okay.
And the population will
briefly.
But you don't do that all the time. You don't blame who does the illegal acts.
Dr. Micheal
You blame the government for illegal acts of some or your brothers. That's where the problem is.
Dr. Micheal Ndi Mancho, Senior Barrister Achu states that in terms of the competency of the DO or the SDO, it's enshrined in the Constitution that the decentralization law shall be administered progressively. Let me read you a text of the 1996 Constitution, which section 67, that says, the new institution of the Republic provided for under this Constitution shall be set up progressively. Section 67 sub 2 states why the institutions are being set up, and until such time that they are set up, the existing institutions of the Republic shall remain in place and shall continue to function. Now, which level are we now? Are we not still in a nuance where people feel like, okay, there is decentralization, the councils should be responsible, and a school of thought will say no, based on the 1996 Constitution, that we shall function like this until such a time will come when we will transfer authority. But the Constitution does not give room for the time frame where this shall be transferred. Are we not in a quagmire?
Mr. Tah Mai, I will not be too radical on talking about this change of institutions, decentralization, all this. But I will tell you that this is too masqueradic. There is nothing to write home about. The issue is the government studies the level of the anxiety of the people, and then they give the people, they feed the people with what they want to hear. Now, you will now know that, yeah, the decentralization is taking a gradual process. And we do not know for how many years it will do.
Yes,
just as you read in 1996.
It was not spelled out.
It's not spelled out. And it will never be. Let me already say that I'm pessimistic, that's fine. Now, even the regional chiefs are here, they don't yet have offices 2 years down the line. It means that perhaps when they will have offices in 10 years, they are going to maybe then start painting or instituting or whatsoever. What we are saying is that we should believe this thing called decentralization at our own risk. It shall never hold and will never solve any problem. Because at least we'll have seen a glimmer of hope in the Northwest and Southwest region for these 2 years running, that at least decentralization is taken up. But if the problems that, the solutions that were meant to solve the problems that we are facing in the Northwest and Southwest region today, as the solution that are reigniting the problems that we are having today, then there's a problem. There's a bigger problem. Because we will not be having that problem of the SDO, actually taking, we call it power, he's power drunk. That man is power drunk, and he needs to be called to order.
But he's operating alongside the Constitution.
That is what I'm saying. That at this time we are not. That is what we are saying. That those are some basic problems that we are not supposed to hear about today.
But you say power drum, whereas he is just mandated by the Constitution.
No, but at least you need to be able to blame some of these things so that it doesn't look so pronouncing as it's looking now.
We now not blame the Constitution than blaming him because he's enforcing the Constitution.
There are certain things that sometimes you as an administrator, you can be able to use your learning and your knowledge to be able to make these things sound, really less aggressive than they are today. Because this is too pronounced that the SDO just sits and at his will, he signs a paper, comes out with the names of teachers. Maybe, I don't know, however, he even gets the survey and gets the names of the teacher, because even names of principals are there. How does he get this? And then he puts on the paper, sends to Yaoundé, and somebody validates without the knowledge of the Minister of Secondary Education. I want to emphasize that.
Instead of calling UPT. Instead of calling
okay. No, I don't want to. Okay. No PT. No PT. No, Barozy, that is fine. It is true. I know that we are. Barozy, we are in a war on legitimacy. That's true. Yes. I don't even know who no PT is. Anyway, I don't know him. But the issue is, but you should know that no PT doesn't want school to go on.
Of course, he's
so why should I know his
teachers.
name?
This is the one kidnapping.
And therefore, why does the Joe create more problems for people who are supposed to be supporting?
Start by blaming the PT for kidnapping.
We have blamed them.
We have blamed them.
Do you know why? Do you know why no PT is desperate? Barrister, do you know why no PT is desperate? Because he has not received our support. The day that the Anglophone struggle failed is the day that Senior Barrister Achu Julius and me, Dr. Ndi Mancho Micheal, refused to support them in the issue of school boycott. That's when they started failing. If you have not known, I want to give the statistics of it. That is when they started being desperate. And that's why they started hanging even on a snake as they were drowning. They have failed. And I'm saying
let's bury them first. Oh, bury them. They'll come and look for the living.
No, but the point is that I cannot. No, the point is that I cannot shame no Peter and the rest, and then the person I'm standing up becomes a snake, and it becomes a poison that I'm not supposed to stand with.
We eat snakes.
No, we will not. Because the issue is.
We eat snakes.
No, Barrister, the issue is that we have run away from.
We can cure the snake poison. Snake poison is black. We
have run away from rain to fall in the sea.
In the sea?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
This sea has existed.
Yes, we have run away from rain to fall in the sea.
It's a river that wanted to take over the sea, and the sea said, look at the sea.
Because
don't mix it, that's it.
No, I'm not mixing, because we said that these guys, you are too extravagant the way you are doing, and then we want to side with what you call your government, and then we have realized that the government has become the sea that we are falling into.
The government has always been the sea. A small river wants to come and take over the sea. How?
How? Let us face fact. Now I want to look at the war between the minister and the SGO. Is this really something that is supposed to be actually a talk of the day? Listen, there's a few days ago there was a letter circulating that some scammers once wrote a letter indicating that they are recruiting some teachers into secondary education, and 3 days after, the minister wrote a disclaimer.
Not even 3 days.
2 days. 2 days. No. He wrote a disclaimer. 2 days. You see, the minister was prompt. Now, let us come back to my defense. As a level of Anglophone is easy. And of course, I know that, Barrister, I trust you to be the #1 defender of the Anglophone issue. You should be. I'm not saying that you are, but I want that you.
I have always been.
No, you are not yet. Always been. When you reach that level, I'll tell you. But I'm saying that.
I'm not waiting for your assessment.
I'm saying that.
I'm not waiting for your assessment. I've always been.
No, but you should be. You should be. The issue. I'm saying that. You see, people. Naloba Yonga is an Anglophone, and there is a deliberate and premeditated attempt to tarnish his image because he's an Anglophone. People say that he is allowing teachers to flee. People say that she's allowing teachers to flee, and that they are leaving their job sites, and that she is not doing anything. That is where that's the crux of the matter. And now they want to tarnish her image. This deal is supposed to have written to the minister to get her opinion.
No.
As you are saying that should denounce no pity, you too should denounce this deal.
Yes.
Denounce this deal, Barrister, and that's when I'll start knowing that you are defending the Anglophone cause.
So you don't denounce no pity, right?
Who is no pity? We are talking about something that we can touch.
Who is kidnapping?
No Peter ever written a letter to say that there should be not anything. We are talking material.
You're waiting for a letter to come before kidnapping.
If you want to go to court,
you're waiting for a letter.
Barrister, what is the material you take to court against no pity? Have you ever seen any paper about no pity writing that this should happen? But we are talking about things that you can go to court and defend this man.
You go to whose court?
Where?
Justice, the court you talk about.
Your court. I'm talking about your court because you talk about the court. Because me, I cannot waste my time. I cannot waste my time.
You're waiting for God.
You talk about the court, and I'm supporting you to say the court. And then when you go to that court, defend the Anglophone cause.
Okay. Look, they don't defend that type of cause in court. They don't defend that type of cause in court. Don't make those mistakes.
Thank you, Senior Barrister.
It's policy. It's a matter of policy.
Dr. Micheal Ndi Mancho, I really would have. Maybe we can have a one-on-one on YouTube. Yes, I prefer a one-on-one on YouTube so that let's look at this. Yes, let's look at. No. Let's a one-on-one on this issue. Let's look at the 1996 Constitution, where and how we should Cameroonians should be educated on what the pros and the cons, because this 1 hour cannot give us really what. That's why I kept you guys talking, because people are being educated on what is supposed to be and what is innocent. Before coming to you, let me take on a few messages. Max from Germany. Max, who is one of our contributors, also assisted, it's true, I'll come to you, who has also contributed to assist the internally displaced persons. He says, hello, Mr. Javis, senior barrister, whom we respect so much because he usually makes publicity for the court system. Let us assume we take our matter to court. Then barristers need to tell if it is affordable for the common man and actually for the teachers who are left without salaries. Max from Germany.
It is legal aid.
Okay.
The government sponsors that.
Okay. This other one read, it says, hello, happy Sunday to you all. I love the program. Please, I would love to be a member of your guest. I am Clovis from the Bui division, writing from United Arab Emirates. I would love to say this: if you are trusting most of the present politicians in Cameroon, especially the ones in power, you are doing that at your own risk. What do I mean by your own risk? In simple terms, is the possibility of something bad happening. Risks involve uncertainty about the effect, implications of the activities with respect to something that humans value, such as health, being, wealth, poverty, and the rest. The message is too long. Please, when you are writing us, keep it short and simple. John from Douala says, good day, good minds. Please, Mr. Barrister, this question: why are they suspending salaries of teachers but not other ministers? This one, it says, I wish to ask Barrister, in this country called Cameroon, who controls the order with that we see on the ground? Is it the judiciary or the executive? Good day, happy Sunday to you, Felix from Boya. I think Cameroon has been playing good so far and has been the most consistent team in the tournament. It is sad that the country is in a state of lawlessness, and thank you very much. Please be a bit Republican when writing us. Ndumbe from Bonaberi in Cameroon says everything is possible. Who is SDO to suspend teacher salary? But you've been told that legally, from a constitutional perspective, there is a legality. Senior Barrister is not there to say whether the decision was rightly implemented or wrongly implemented. It's stating that the SDO had the competency based on the Constitution, because 1996 Constitution says it shall be, decentralization shall be, it's progressive, shall be administered progressively, and that the current institutions shall remain until further. Ndiwum Emmanuel, where do we go from here? From the teachers?
I wanted to say that, no, with the teachers, I'm done with them.
Okay.
I've told
now,
them
and SDO bypasses the minister because principals...
No, in a normal country, it doesn't obtain. It's only in Cameroon. Remember that in Cameroon, even the prime minister, even the prime minister is not respected. That is why the prime minister will be in Norway saying something, and his subordinate is in Yaoundé saying the contrary. We have seen it, and we are used to it. Now, when Barrister Julius is only talking about no pity, I don't remember a day I ever held my voter's card to go and vote for no pity. But your regime is there; it has been there for 40 years, failing us, and we have been supporting them. We have just holding you people to account because we still accept that legally, even if legitimately you people are not the right people to be there. We are still holding you people because...
Oh, you might legitimately, they are not the right people.
No, I said I don't. That's another topic. If you sample the opinions of Cameroon about the regime in place, 98% of Cameroonians do not want that regime.
The opinions are sorted at the ballot boxes now.
Which ballot box are you talking about? The ballot box of Transparency International. What are you saying? Anyway, I'm not talking about that one. In Fundong is even ruled by CBDM. So if we talk about Fundong, and we know there are crooks that are doing there. Yeah. So what I wanted to say, Tah Mai, is that in educational administration, I don't know whether that is the same administration that is taught in ENAM. They say administration varies according to the environment. I'm sure that my senior man there will back it up. An administrator administrates depending on the kind of the environment. If the environment is hostile, in Tukumbere, the administrator there does not rule the way he who is in Bafme rules. And that goes to say that we have been crying for so long a time. There are some institutions in this country that should be crafted away, and ENAM is one. You know that 80% of Cameroon problems are created by products from ENAM. Sometimes, I tend to ask myself, is it that they in Enam they train them how to, create more problems in the country than solve problems, or how? Because you have seen it. If an SDO who cannot go to Ngokutunja without using an ammo car is calling on a teacher to go and teach without a bulletproof, is that, even from the human point of view, is that not sheer wickedness, Tah Mai Javis? You want your life to live, and you want others to place their lives at the altar of sacrifice because you want to show to your owner that you are working. These SDOs are not doing anything. What they are doing in this country, they are causing more harm than good.
Okay.
So Enam, like we have been crying, very soon, I know that barrister's regime is at the level of the door. We will kick them out very soon, and then we'll reshape the country. Enam will be closed down, and the problems of Cameroon will reduce.
Okay. Thank you. Sir Barozy, what's your advice to teachers? Because you have been in this situation of in a hostile environment. What's your advice to these teachers who are in a similar situation as you were when you were in Moyuka?
Yes, I want to say that doctor said the guys in the bushes are angry because teachers started this problem and abandoned it to them. But they should remember that teachers started the problem, they were not violent. They were just that they will not go to school and will stay in the house. And they needed some problems to be solved. Now, some have already been solved. The government has tried their best, although they have not tried, they are still to improve on it. Now, some people now, and the government, because every time I always come here, I always tell you, because if you remember, Bali Kumbat has 7 Bali. There are 7 Bali in the Northwest. Why? Because their fund died and the children could not cooperate. That is the same thing which is happening now in the Anglophone regions. Because if you go, the separatist leaders, if you ask them, they will tell you that they want that school should go. There are some that are bent that there will be no school. Some are bent on that there will be no school. Now, the reason why is because the person who started this, the person who was the leader of this thing, and did not even advise anybody to carry arms, he was locked up. If all of you can remember, it's only when he was locked up that the other person now came. And it was even his senior pastor. He said, violence, heaven suffer violence, and only violence take it by force. And they started fighting.
They never picked up arms.
And other
they
groups
picked up arms when the government started shooting the people.
Yeah,
we are not defending them, but you should not miss the point. The first bullet came from the government, and the voices replied, which is a wrong thing. Of course, no, we should be saying that it's a wrong thing. But underlining that before they took up arms, it is the government.
You
said the voices.
Let me finish. So now, one thing to say that the government is to be blamed, and because myself, I know that those administrators, they have powers in their vicinity. Because I was in Moyoka, I saw the way the Joe of Moyoka was behaving. In short, even the commissioner of police, anytime that you just work on you one morning, they come in and just arrest everybody, lock you up, and after I release you anyhow, after you are giving 15,000. That is what was happening. But so now, those are you don't pay 15,000, you stay there for 3 days. After students,
so where should the teachers?
What my problem is to say, what I'm saying is that those administrators who have powers, they should struggle and have sense. Yes, so that they should use their brains to to make the environment conducive. Because the truth is, the fact is that the government knows these people. They know Ayaba children. They know them. Yes, they know all of them. So the government cannot claim that they don't know them. They should call those people and they should discuss. They create a buffer zone so that teachers can go there. To me, like in Cameroon, they can say from 8 o'clock, they make them to understand from 8 o'clock to this, from morning to 8, nobody should shoot. From 8 to 3, nobody should do anything. Or if there is shooting, there should be no retaliation. As I said, because when there is shooting, there is, let me say something. There is something that some of us don't know. Some of these boys join this team not because they want to kill anybody. It's just for adventure. It's just tomorrow for them to go and sit and say, Master, that day we shoot. We shoot. That means it's just for them. It's just adventure. So they just get up one morning and they will start shooting. They will start shooting, and the military too will be fear. They will let me finish.
Briefly, we are out of time.
They will shoot, and finally now the whole time will be in chaos. So the government should create buffers. These administrators, they should learn sense. They should struggle and have sense. Pray for wisdom.
So you are saying they don't have sense?
For now, from the way they behave, are you not?
You said the state council is. Am
I the one saying that they don't have sense? They themselves are usually what are Somebody is living in Limbe, the person is not even in Ngakatunja, but he stands on people walking out. What if the governor too? Can the governor stand on him also? Because the governor have sense, more sense. Yes.
Thank you. Senior Barrister Achu, we are slowly, but almost out of time. What is your legal? You are a legal. I want you to talk on the perspective as a legal mind. What legal advice will you give these people who says the Constitution states that the council should manage it and not the SDU? You're in the position of giving them legal advice.
First and foremost, there's what we call transfer of competence. That the central government is supposed to transfer to the local decentralized entities. It's still a gradual process. It's not yet gone to fruition. And you see, the mayors are supposed to be people of substance. The regional presidents are supposed to be people of charisma. So the way you manage these things depend on those leaders. If you have a weak leader, you have a weak every other thing. You have a weak mayor, you have a weak every other thing. You see, it's dangerous in the state, in the country, to create a dangerous precedent. My friend Innocent says they should call those leaders and sign a truce or discuss how to shoot, when to shoot and when not to shoot, or decide on how to run their issues. What does that mean? So the day Mr. Ndiwum and his own government will take power, all I need to do is I take my own guns and go to the bush and do the same thing for him and his own people to call us to come and sit down and talk. That is creating anarchy in a society. It cannot work that way, my friend. It cannot. So never create a dangerous precedent, because if you start discussing with those who have taken up arms without have any legitimate backup, you are creating trouble for that country for a lifetime.
Okay.
Not only for today, for a lifetime. What I can tell the teachers is this: if you think the conditions of working are not comfortable for you, you resign. You ask for suspension of your duties, so that let the state not be bleeding, paying monies for somebody who's not working. You ask for study leave and go to school, so that let the money be used to help Mr. Ndiwum who's not going to school or doing some other thing, or my friend or myself, to give me a state brief to defend somebody for free, because the state brief is the government that pays. So there's so much they can do, and you should know that this thing will bear much on the society if the teachers decide to do it that way. Now we're not saying we cannot work, we're resigning. Okay. The society is going to make sure that that insecurity that exists will stop. Well, let me tell you something. If the society doesn't back the government to stop these guys, these thugs who are disturbing the place, kidnapping and killing, if the society is not with the government, it can never work.
But some school of thought says that the kidnapping is both ways.
Both ways. If it comes to the side of the government, it is traceable and it is punishable. Okay. But when it comes to the other side, it is not.
No, it is, Barrister.
You know where the guy is
You have been talking about no pity, meaning that you can trace him.
No pity is a name. It's not an English word.
You are the one who have been using it on this platform.
I don't know the other name, because we know that there's a guy. There's a guy called no pity.
You want to condemn a name that doesn't exist.
Okay, to trace it, we need the society. Because they are neighbors, they are friends, they are brothers.
Okay, thank you.
If you don't talk to him, you don't say that is the man called no pity. How people know him?
Dr. Mike.
At least you know the SDU facially, you can know identify him. You know the military man, you can identify him. Who knows them?
We are slowly out
except you of the society. If you don't participate with the government, they can't stop them.
We are slowly out of time. Dr. Micheal Ndi Mancho, thank you for coming. Your last word briefly.
My last word is to find out, is
maybe you book a date.
Yeah, but I would like to send him off with a question. I thought they got no pity through the wife that they kidnapped. I'm surprised that they kidnapped the wife and have not traced him. So they wasted the state funds for nothing. So what I'm saying is that it is true. Well, but why did they do so? Why did they do so? Is it a law in the Cameroon that the wife should be punished from the crimes of the husband? or that the mother should be punished for the crimes of the son.
This is the scene. This is where you come and talk about it.
Yeah, that is right. And because
the guys who did it, you can only ask them. Call the GO, whoever who arrested the guy. Say, look, why do you do that? We come on TV and we talk about it.
Who am I, a politician, to go and be calling the Joe bourgeois to talk about that?
Yeah, you can talk about it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we have a civil society, we have the media. Down to my media partner, we have the voice.
But they don't come to your doorstep, then you will know.
But we'll have that as an. I'm saying that. They actually, we are talking about an issue about the SGO acting without the knowledge of the minister. I just got somebody actually from Yaoundé who messaged me and said, and is corroborating with the barrister and said, and he had just told me that normally the SGO has the powers to act without even the knowledge of the minister. And my worry is, what use then is the decentralization? Or they said it is still in force.
It's progress because Article 63, Section 63 says it's in progress.
But don't you think it is lame that a SGO will act without informing the minister in question? Because actually the minister in question is supposed to have an account of those who are working under his ministry. Well, I'm not arguing that is the lame government that I have not trusted, and I'm not trusting it.
We're out of time, Dr.
Yes.
Micheal.
So what I'm saying is that we need to do things right. Yeah, we need to do things straight. And that me as a federalist, I've said the issue of the Northwest and Southwest region, it is not in the hands of whoever no pity or whatever they're calling. It is in the hands of Barrister Achu, Dr. Ndi Mancho, Mr. Ndiwum, and Mr. Innocent. We can play a part in it. To blame somebody who has just come from Norway and is acting on the government and no pity is no blame. We can blame the people that we know they are trained. But let me.
Out of time.
Yes,
you have time with senior barrister. You will get 2 hours
next time. We are saying that we should blame people that we can be able who are accountable, and that if somebody is coming to Cameroon, it's the Cameroon government who responds. So we are sending Barrister Achu to tell the Yaoundé that they should do things right.
Me like who?
Man, of course, you are the same there, man.
Someone who talks to them.
We talk to them directly.
Like I said from the beginning, I never knew that Cameroon could be this competent in organizing an event. If they have succeeded in organizing the Nations Cup, I want them to use the same skill to organize a real dialogue in Cameroon this time, not the CPDM monologue.
Innocent, thank you for coming.
I don't want to say that somebody asked about the when you go to court. Actually, I had my case in court. When you go to court, if you report a case, the state council normally asks like your lawyer. Yes, because that is what the state council, because the state council was my lawyer. I do not hire any lawyer. But since I have a background in law, I told the woman, I don't bother yourself. I can handle the case myself. So at times you go like that, the government they give you, they can give you a lawyer. But in my own case, the state council was a lawyer. So maybe the barrister can enlighten me if actually the state council or the government give you a different lawyer. So Cameroonians should be enlightened, because many people have been fooled. Many people they think that the law is just for the bourgeoisie,
Yes.
But if you go to court, your matter will said, please don't go to police, don't go to gendarme, go to the state council and take your complaint. And the state council should send it to the gendarme.
Thank you very micheal. I'm sure Dr. Micheal Ndi Mancho, you are senior barrister Achu today. There is no time for. We apologize to the other members for cutting your time. We know that you and Innocent for not having enough time. So we know that subsequently we'll book a time for only you and senior barrister to charge an issue. Last time Padia Sanga gave an appointment with senior barrister, he did not respect it. I just hope that you respect your own. Thank you for coming and stay blessed. Bye-bye.